Okay, can you see this? All right. All right, so for the second part of financial mathematics, we are going to focus on simple interest and compound interest calculation. All right. So, okay, when we run a business, okay, we may need capital, we may need money, we may not have sufficient money to run the business. So what can we do is we can borrow money from bank or other financial institution in order to run or start the business. Okay, and the amount of money that we borrow from bank is called as principal. Principal. So we use P to represent principal. Okay. So principal can be referred to the initial borrowing. Okay, or we call it as initial or original. Initial borrowing. And when you borrow money, sure, the bank also want to earn money as well, right? Earn money as well. So the bank will charge for interest so that the bank can earn money due to the borrowing. So interest can be referred to the return of the bank, okay, due to borrowing or lending money to the businessman or individual customer. Okay, and for the borrower, it can be interest can be referred to the cost, okay, cost of borrow money from bank. Okay, so this interest has to be paid to the bank in future. And interest we use I to represent this variable. Okay, and besides involve loan or borrowing, the individual customer can also invest money in the bank or save money in the bank, and in return, the individual or customer will receive interest from the bank as well. So it can be looked at from the borrower perspective or from the investor perspective, right? So the principal here can be referred to the amount of money that have been saved by the investor or a customer, or it can be also referred to the original amount of money that will be lent out by the bank to the individual customer in order to run business, maybe, or maybe in order to buy house or buy car. Okay. So we call this as principal. So in return, the borrower has to pay interest, and we use I to represent the symbol of interest. Okay. Okay, now you may ask, then how to calculate this interest? Okay, so this interest calculation is based on 3 variables. Okay, based on 3 factors. The first factor is principal. Principal means the initial investment or initial borrowing. So the higher the principal, the more interest that has to be paid by the borrower in future. Okay, so this is the first factor. So P has positive relationship with the I. Second factor is the interest rate offered by bank. Okay, the interest rate offered by bank. So the higher the interest rate, the more interest that have to be paid by the borrower in future. And we use R. We can use capital R or small letter of R to represent interest rate. Okay, so this interest rate actually is given in percentage unit, but when you do calculation, you need to change the percentage to decimal number. Okay, I have to change to decimal number when you do the calculation. Okay, the third factor is based on the duration of the investment, okay, the duration of the borrowing. And this T is always in years unit. For this formula, remember, the T is in years unit. Okay, is in years unit. So the longer the investment period or the longer the borrowing period, the more interest will be charged. Okay, so in short, I is equal to P multiply R and multiply T. Okay, so let's try one example. Okay, because of this one, right? Because of I, okay, so that means that in future, the borrower has to pay the principal plus the interest charged by the bank. P plus I will be the cumulative amount, and we call this as the maturity value or future value. Okay, the future value has to be paid by the borrower at the end of the borrowing period. Okay, and we call this as the maturity value or future value. Okay, and it's also called as accumulated amount. Sometimes it's also called as return, total return, or accumulated amount. It's referred to as. Okay, so let's try one example. Okay, to on how are we going to use this formula in order to solve the problem. Okay, so the first question is like this: calculate the simple interest on 5,800 for 6 months at 14% PA. PA means per annum, per year. PA means per year or per annum. So that means this is the annual interest rate. 14% is the annual interest rate. However, for this question, right, the investment period is only 6 months. It's only 6 months. Okay, and the P, which is the original principal, is equal to 5,800. So let's try to write down the information given first before we solve the problem. All right. So given, we can add the information given. Okay, P is 5,800, so we put here, right? If you don't put the unit, it's fine, because this is only for your information. Okay, R is the interest rate. In this question is 14%. So bear in mind, when you want to do calculation, you need to change percentage to decimal number. Okay, so 14% means 14 divided by 100, so you get 0.14. Okay, T, because T is in years unit, all right, but this question is involved only 6 months. So we need to convert the month into years. So how? We have to use 6 divided by 12. What is the reason we use 12? Because 1 year has 12 months. Okay, so we need to convert this month, the month unit, into years unit when you want to substitute the value into the T. Okay, so that means it's equal to half years, 0.5 years. 6 months means 0.5 years. Okay, so remember, you need to change month to year when you want to use the formula of I equals to PRT in order to get the answer for I. Okay, so once you have these 3 information, then you can calculate the I value. So I is equal to 5,800 multiplied with the R, which is the interest rate, multiplied with the investment period, which is half years. Okay, so simplify, you get $406. So this is the interest charge for the investment of 6 months. Okay, and this is the interest that has to be paid by the borrower at the end of the investment period or maturity period or borrowing period. Okay, so I stop for a while. Any question on example 1? So far so good. So you may find that actually the interest charge is based on principal, the original investment. Okay, second example. Mary invest 22,000, so that means save money. Okay, so now Mary is investor, is a saver. Save 22,000 for 5 years at 6.5% PA. PA means per year or per annum. Okay, and it's using the simple interest calculation. PA of simple interest. So that means the interest calculation is based on principal. Okay, it's based on principal. Okay, what will be the value of her investment at maturity period? Maturity period means at the end of the investment period. Maturity period means the end of the investment period. So that means you are asked to calculate the S value. Okay, you are asked to calculate the S value. Maturity period. So that means you're asked to get the S. Okay, so let us try to write down first some of the information given from the question, right? So we know given P, the principal, is referred to the initial investment, right? 22,000. So put here. If you don't put the dollar, it's fine. Okay, then R is 6.5%. So we need to convert to decimal number. Remember, so it's 6.5 divided by 100. Then you'll get 0.065. T is the investment period. Okay, for this question, it's in years unit. So no need to convert into other unit anymore. It's already in years. So just put T equals 5. Okay, T equals 5. Okay, now you need to get the S value. Okay, you need to get the S value. Okay, so in order to get S value, you need to get the I first by using the first formula that we learned this morning. Okay, I is equal to PRT. Okay, so it's equal to 22,000. If you don't put the dollar sign, it's fine. When you do the working, if you don't put the dollar sign, it's fine. Okay, but the final answer must have the dollar sign. But the steps do not require to put the symbol. Okay, so if you skip the sign for the process, is fine. Okay, R is 6.5%. T is 5. So simplify, I get 7150. So that means this is the interest that will be earned by Mary after 5 years. This is the interest that will be earned by Mary, because now Mary is the investor. Okay, so after 5 years, she is going to earn interest 7150. Okay, so but this question now is asking what is the value of her investment. So we need to use P, the principal, which is the origin investment that she made, plus the interest that she is going to receive at the end of the maturity period, which is at the end of 5 years. Okay, so it's using P plus the I. P plus I. Yeah? So I'll get 29150. Okay, so far so good for this question. Okay, yeah? All right. Next. The challenging is you need to interpret the question. You need to understand the question and then write down the relevant information. Okay, example 3. John invests 14,000 for 3.5 years. So that means John is the investor now, is save money, okay, in one of the institutions. Okay, by using the simple interest. So simple interest means the interest charge will be based on principal only. Okay, based on principal. Okay, so for this question, we know that P is 14,000. We write down first, 14,000. And the T is 3.5 years. And because it's already in years, so we just put T equals 3.5 in now. Yeah, no need to convert to any unit. Okay, so for this sentence, we managed to get 2 information. Okay, next question. If the value of his investment at the maturity period is 18,900. So that means that this is the S value. Okay, so some students may ask whether this is S or I. Some students may confuse. Okay, by logic, usually the interest received will be lower than the principal. Interest usually is not much, because if too much, then bank is making a loss later on. Yeah, so by logic, the I value should not be too high. Usually the I value should be less than the P. Okay, less than the P. So if you compare this number and 14,000, this value is higher than P, right? So this is the S. Okay, 18,900 is the S. It's not the I. It's the S. By logic, future value. So maybe I can write down here. Okay, so usually by logic, the S value is greater than the P. Okay, and the P is greater than the I. All right, so when you have difficulty, then you can use this method to help you to identify whether it's I, P, or S. Okay, next sentence. So what simple interest rate did he receive? This is rate. Okay, this is in percentage. It's no longer dollar. It's in percentage. Simple interest rate. Okay, you're asked to calculate the R. It's not the I, but it's the R value. Okay, so in order to get the R value, we need to get the I first. I in dollar sign first. We get the I first. All right. Why? Because we know that I is equal to PRT. Okay, but now we don't know the R value, so we can use another formula in order to help us. So far this morning we already learned 2 formula, right? We already learned 2 formula. I equals PRT, and we also learned S is equal to P plus I. Okay, so you're asked to get the R value, but the problem is we cannot use the first formula to solve the problem now, because the I we don't know. As a result, we cannot directly use this formula to get the R value directly, because I is unknown. Okay, then we may consider how to use the second formula in order to get the I. We can transpose the formula, this formula, the second formula, so that we can get the I value first. Then after that, we use the first formula to get the R value. Okay, so let's try the step involved. So I is equal to S minus P, yeah, you can transpose the formula, isn't it? You can use the second formula and transpose so that the I will be the subject. Okay. So it's S minus P, yeah? I is equal to S minus P. So S is 18,900, substitute to here. P is 14,000, put here. All right, simplify is 4,900. So this is the I. Okay. Then we use the second formula, the first formula to calculate the R value by transposing the formula. We have to bring the P and T to the left-hand side, becomes divide. Okay, so R is equal to I divided by PT. Okay, I is, how is the value? I 4,900, so substitute to here. P is the principal, 14,000, put here. And then the T is 3.5 years, put here. Okay, so simplify, I get 0.1, but usually, okay, the answer for R should be in percentage. So we need to convert the decimal number into percentage number. If the answer is the final answer for interest rate, we need to leave the answer in percentage. So you can put 10% per annum. Okay, 10% per annum. So that means it's 10% per year, the interest rate charge. Okay. So far so good. So this example is demonstrate to you how to playing around with the first two formulas that we learned this morning. Okay, in order to get the R value. Okay, example 4. Okay, Peter earns this is earns 12,400 simple interest. Earn this interest. So that means this is the I value. Okay, earns this interest. So this is the I. On a 4 years investment at 15.5% per annum. So that means the investment period is in 4 years. So we put T equals to 4. T equals to 4. Okay, and the interest rate is 15.5% per annum. So we convert this percentage into decimal number, you get 0.155. Okay, so these three information already given from the question itself. Right, so given. Given this, okay, now you're asked to calculate how much was his initial investment. Initial means the original investment, which is P. You're asked to get the P value, right? So which formula we need to use? So today we already learned two formula, right? Today we already learned two formula, which is I equals P RT, S is equal to P plus I, right? And you are asked to calculate the TP value. Okay, you may find that both formula got P, right? Both formula got P, but now depends on the information you have, right? It depends on information you have. If you use the second formula, you may find that you don't have the S value, okay? So it's not suitable to use the second formula to calculate the P, because S is not given for this question, not given, okay? So how about the first formula? For first formula, I is given, R also given, and T got also given. So it's better to use the first formula to solve the problem for example 4. Okay, so now we have to transpose the formula. Okay, you have to decide the formula, then after that you have to transpose the formula so that P will be a subject. So that means you need to move R and also T to the left hand side and becomes divide. Okay. All right, I is 12,400, so substitute to here as a numerator. Then R is 0.155, put here. T is 4 years, put here. Simplify is equal to 20,000. Okay, easy, So far we only learned two formula, and in order to apply to the simple interest calculation. All right, I stop for a while. Any question? Okay, all right. So this simple interest calculation can be also applied to the hire purchase agreement, or we call it as the installment purchase. Okay. Usually in our real life, when you want to buy furniture, if you don't have enough money, you can ask the shop for allowing you to buy the furniture under the hire purchase agreement, whereby you will pay a certain amount of deposit, or we call it as down payment now, okay, and then in the future you'll pay back, okay, the value of the furniture month by month. but okay, this installment, the monthly installment in the future will include the interest charge. Okay, will include the interest charge. All right, so how to calculate this interest charge? In fact, is using the simple interest calculation. Okay, the interest charge is using the simple interest calculation. So that is still using this one, I equals to PRT. Same as what we learned this morning, PRT. Okay, so this is the interest that will be paid by the consumer. Okay, in the future, if the consumer would like to have the higher purchase agreement for purchasing furniture, for instance. Okay, so it's using the same formula, PRT, but in this case, this P here, this P here is referred to the price, okay, the price of the product minus the deposit. Okay, price of the product minus the deposit. So bear in mind, for the installment question, this P is the principle of the agreement, and this P actually is using this is called as the product price, right? Product price minus the down payment, minus down payment. Down payment means deposit. Okay, deposit. So this P will be charged for interest in future. Okay, it's entitled for interest. So bear in mind, if the question is involved higher purchase, the P is referred to the original product price minus the deposit. Okay, minus the deposit. Then how about if the question asking to calculate, then what is the total repayments that have to be made by the customer in future? Total repayments, and that is referred to the S. Okay, re means the amount of money that yet to be paid, that will be paid in future because it's repay. Okay, so this is referred to the S value that will be paid by the customer in future. So what is the formula? Formula is using the principal. Okay, principal is using this formula plus the interest charge, which is using this formula. Okay, then you can get the S value. Besides that, S can be calculated by using this formula, which is the periodic installment. That means the periodic payment. It can be monthly payment, can be weekly payment. It depends on the question. So periodic is referred to the monthly payment, okay, or weekly payment, divided by number of installments or number of payments made within the hire purchase agreement period. Okay, so in short, there are two formulas that you can use in order to get the S value. Okay, and finally, okay, if the question asking to calculate, then what is the total hire purchase price? What is the formula? A formula is using the S plus deposit. Okay, S plus deposit. Then you can get the total hire purchase. So that means this is the total amount of money that have to be paid by the customer under the installment purchase. So installment purchase is also called as hire purchase. Okay, so it's using the concept of simple interest as well. So let's try example 5. Okay, so Alan buys a 4,000 car on hire purchase. Okay, so this 4,000 actually is the list price or the selling price. Okay, 4,000 original price, selling price. Okay, all right, then under this hire purchase agreement, Alan is going to pay a deposit of 400. So deposit means the down payment, 400. Okay, so when you see this word 400, right, immediately you must calculate what is the principle of this hire purchase agreement. What is the principle? That means the original amount of money still yet to be paid by Alan or customer. So immediately we have to do the calculation for the P first. P is using the list price, okay, of the car minus the deposit. So it's equal to 3,600. What is the reason we want to calculate this? Because this value will be entitled for interest charge. Okay, and this value 3,600 will be charged for interest. Okay, and immediately we have to calculate the P value after we know the deposit value. Okay, That is the first step. Okay, the next sentence, he pays the remainder of over 3 years. He pays the remainder here. The remainder here means the principal plus the I. Okay, principal plus the I, which is this P, yeah, this P plus the I over 3 years. So that means the hire purchase agreement is within 3 years. Okay, and the monthly installment is 130. So that means this is paid by monthly basis. Okay, paid every month. Every month have to pay 130 for 3 years. Okay, every month pay 130. Yeah. Okay, so what the question now is asking, what is the flat interest rate? So flat interest rate actually is referred to the R. Okay, it's referred to the R, yeah, the simple interest. Flat interest rate means the simple interest rate. What is the reason we use the word flat is because every month, you may find that under the hire purchase, every month, this customer, Alan, pays similar amount of installment every month, 130. As a result, we call this interest rate as flat rate, okay? Because the customer pays similar value of installment every month. As a result, we call this as flat rate or simple interest rate, same meaning. Okay. So in order to get the R value, all right, we need to get the I first, all right? In order to get the R value, we need to get the I, okay? We need to get I value. But in order to get the I value, we need to know what is S, isn't it? Okay, we need to know the S value, okay? And also the P. Okay, P we already have here. Okay, we already have the P here, 3,800, 3,600. We already have. The S we don't have. Okay, so how to get the S value? S value we can use this information to help. Okay, S is using this formula that we learned just now. We're using the periodic installment multiply with number. It should be multiplied. Multiply with number of installment. We use this formula to help. So that means it's using the 130 multiply with the monthly installment. How many times? That is 3 years. 3 multiplied 12. Okay. Number of installment is 3 multiplied 12. Because 3 years involve 3 years of hire purchase, and it's involved every month payment. So number of installment is 3 multiplied 12. Periodic installment is 130 according to this question. The periodic is referred to the monthly installment is 130. Okay, so 36 is 3 multiplied 12. So you'll get 4680, which is the S. So we substitute 4680 to here, okay, to this part. And the P is from here. Okay, then subtract these two numbers, you'll get 1080. So this is the interest charge. So once we know the interest charge, the next step is to calculate the R value by using the first formula that we learned this morning. Okay, transposing this formula so that the R will be a subject. Okay, so that means we need to bring the P and also the T to the left hand side and becomes divide. Okay, so I is 1080. Substitute to here. P is from here, 3,600. So the technique is when you see the question involving hire purchase, you must calculate the P value first. How to get the P value? You can use the list price minus the deposit. Okay, so get ready that value. The P value is very important. Okay, for hire purchase question. So make sure that you must get the P value, get ready first when the question involves hire purchase. Okay, then the T is 3 years. Okay, because it's already in years, so you do not need to change the unit of the T into any other unit anymore. It's already in years for this question. So just put 3 years. Okay, So simplify is 0.1, but we need to leave the final answer in percentage for the R. So we can put 10% per annum. So far so good, huh? Okay. So for simple interest calculation is based on principle. The interest charge is not going to help to reduce the interest that will be paid in the future. Okay, because the interest calculation is based on principle for the simple interest question. Okay. So far so good, all right. But in reality, there is one calculation is called as the compound interest calculation, whereby the interest rate is based on principle, and also the accumulated interest paid or received can also help to increase or reduce the interest charge. So there is one interest rate calculation is called as the effective calculation. This effective rate calculation is assuming the interest charge is based on principle, and also the accumulated interest being accumulated from time to time also will generate the interest charge as well. Okay, and this is called as the effective interest rate, and this is usually is called as the annual rate as well, annual rate or effective rate. Okay, and we can use this formula to calculate the effective rate to check the equivalent rate as compared to the simple interest rate. Simple interest rate is also called as the Fed rate. So we can try to use this formula to identify the equivalent of effective rate that will be equal to the Fed rate. Okay, by using this formula, whereby this R is referred to the simple interest rate or Fed rate. N is referred to number of installment of the can be referred to the hire purchase agreement, or can be referred to the investment. Okay. So the denominator is n plus 1. So these two n are the same. So let us try to use one example here. Okay. So example number 6 actually is referred to the case study of example 5. And you're asked to calculate the effective interest rate. Okay. So according to this question, the R value is already given in example 5, which is already calculated for you 10% here. Okay. So this is the flat interest rate 10%. And the N is total number of installment being made. So for this question, it's involved 36 installment. Okay. So what can we do is we can substitute 10% and 36 of N into the formula of effective rate. Okay, it's simplified, you get 19.46%. So usually the effective rate is higher. It's higher than the Fed rate. Okay, it's higher than the Fed rate. So in fact, right, in reality, the customer, okay, that is Alan. Actually, Alan is Alan. Alan actually, right, is the effective rate. Okay, that paid by Alan, in fact, is 19.46%. Okay, as compared to the flat rate of 10%. What is the reason? You may ask, what is the reason effective rate is higher? It's because for Alan, right? For Alan, if he is using the flat rate, right? Then in the next 3 years, okay, the future of 3 years, he has to pay similar amount of the installment, okay, installment every month, 130 flat rate, okay, in order to clear the higher purchase debt. Okay, but if he is using the effective rate, right, that means right, the whatever that he has cleared for the installment purchase, then he may find that the interest charge will be getting lesser and lesser in future. Okay. So if he's using the effective rate method, then that means it's equal to 19.46%. Okay. And this is called as the compound interest rate. That is what we want to find out in the next section for today's lesson, compound interest. Okay, so the next section today is compound interest. So the compound interest calculation is based on principle. Besides that, it's also based on the previous earned interest or previous paid interest. And that can also help to generate the interest in future. So if you are the, let's say, the investor or the saver in the bank, besides the original principle, this one should be PAL. Okay. If you are using the compound interest calculation, you may find that besides the principle, the previous interest that you earn can also help to generate interest in future. So which is better for the investor, in fact. So compound interest, in fact, is better for the investor or saver because the interest earned previously can also help to generate more interest again in future. Okay. But because of this, we may find that the formula to calculate the I will be very complicated. Okay, there is no direct formula to calculate the I value, the I for compound interest. Okay, but we can use the S value to do the calculation first before we can get the I. Okay, so for compound interest, the S value, the maturity value is equal to the principal, okay, multiply 1 plus, this is called as the periodic interest rate. This is the periodic interest rate. Periodic interest rate here can be referred to the monthly interest rate, weekly interest rate, depends on the question. Okay, and power the total number of compounding period. That means how many times the interest will be given to the investor. It's called as compounding period or calculating period. Okay, or interest revising period. It's called as compounding period. Okay. In fact, this formula we can try to extend again. Okay, extend this formula. In fact, this R value here, okay, is referred to the annual interest rate divided by number of interest being compounded within a year. Okay, M is number of interest being compounded within a year. Is the M. So you can use K divided by M, then you can get the R value. K is the annual rate, okay, yearly rate, divided by M, then you can get the monthly rate or weekly rate. Okay, and this N here, actually you can use T multiplied M. T is the investment period in years unit, and then M is referred to number of times the interest being calculated within a year. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce to you, okay, before we apply this formula, I'd like to introduce to you how to get the M value here. So this depends on the question. Okay, how to get the M, it depends on the question. Okay, so let's say now the annual rate is given. I use K. Annual rate, let's say it's 12%. Okay, so if the interest is revised yearly, yearly means annually. If yearly, then within a year, the interest is only compound one time only. It's only revised one time. So M is equal to 1. Okay, M is equal to 1. Okay, how about if the interest now, this interest, annual interest, is revised semi-annually. Semi-annually means every 6 months. So that means maybe the first time of revise, the interest compound will be in June, and then the second time is in December. So that means within a year, okay, if the interest is compound semi-annually, that means there are 2 times of interest being compound or circulated or being revised, okay, within 1 year period. So M is equal to 2. How about if the interest, okay, this annual interest rate is compound quarterly. Quarterly means every 3 months. Okay, so 1 year has how many quarters? 4 quarters. January, February, March is considered as 1 quarter, first quarter. Second quarter is from April, March, and June. Third quarter is from July, August, and September. And fourth quarter is from October, November to December. So that means 1 year has 4 quarters. Okay, so quarter means every 3 months. So M is equal to 4 if the interest is compound quarterly. How about if the interest is compound monthly? So M is equal to 12, right? Because 1 year has 12 months. if the interest is compound weekly, okay, we assume 1 year has 52 weeks. Okay, we assume 1 year has 52 weeks. So M is 52. Okay, fortnightly, what is the meaning? Fortnightly means every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. So how many fortnight in a year? Answer is 26. How to get 26? That is using 52 divided by 2. So you'll get 26. Okay, so you use 52 here because we know 1 year has 52 weeks. So 1 year has 26 fortnight. Okay, so M is 26. When you see the question is the pattern of the interest is compounded or is circulated or revised fortnightly, and that means M is 26. Okay, daily, I will assume 1 year has 365 days, right? 365 days for this type of question. So far, okay, for the M value. Okay, so we need to know how to get the M value based on the pattern of interest being compounded, because we need to replace the M value into the formula later on when we want to get the S. We need to know how to get the M. Okay, so make sure that you can use this table to help you to identify the M. Okay, all right, so what is the reason it's so important? Because okay, the period rate, the R, okay, is using the formula of annual rate divided by M. So let us see one example here. Okay, if you want to get the period rate when the interest is compounded yearly with the annual rate of 12%, then what is the period rate? What is the yearly rate? Then answer is 12% divided by 1. 12% divided by 1. So you get 12%. Okay, then how about semi-annually? Assume that the annual rate is 12%. So answer is 12% divided by 2. So the semi-annual rate is 6%. The semi-annual rate is 6%. Okay, how about quarter rate? Quarter rate is 12% divided by 4. M is 4. So it's 3%. This is the quarter rate. Okay, 3% is the quarter rate. Monthly rate is 1%. How to get 1%? We have to use the annual rate divided by M. For this question, is 12. Okay. Weekly rate is using the annual rate divided by M, 52. 0.23%. Okay. Fortnight is 12% divided by 26. Lastly, daily rate is annual rate divided by M is 365. So this slide is telling you how to get the M and also how to get the period rate. Is using R. Okay. So some book is using small capital I but I don't want, because otherwise you'll confuse. So I just use R. So this R here, remember this is the period rate. Okay. Or periodic rate. So depends on the question, depends on how is the interest being compounded. Okay, clear? Okay, so let's try to answer example 7 now. Okay, an amount is invested for 3 years. Okay, so this amount is referred to the principal. Invested for 3, that means this is the investment period, 3 years. Okay, because it's already in years, so we do not need to convert the T unit into any other unit anymore. It's already in years, 3. Okay? So I just put T is equal to 3. You can use capital T or use small t, is okay. Fine. Okay. With an interest rate of 6.5%, compounding fortnightly. So these are the keywords. These are keywords. So I use other color. Maybe I use red. All right. Okay, you can see the word after this percentage, got compounding. So this question is no longer simple interest calculation. Okay, compounding means right, besides the principal, the accumulated interest earned by certain person or the investor can also help to generate interest from time to time. So this question is compounding question. Okay, compounding interest question is no longer the simple interest. This is the keyword, very important. Okay. And this interest rate is annual rate. 6.5% is the annual rate. Okay. And this annual rate is compound fortnightly. So that means M is equal to 12. So once you see this word immediately, you have to put M is equal to 12. Okay. M is equal to 12. Immediately, you write down. Okay. So I put red color. So this sentence will tell you M is equal to 26. Okay. That means within a year, the interest will be compounded 26 times. So get ready, the M, very important. Okay, so I use red color. Okay. Okay, next question. You are asked to calculate the period interest rate. That means the R. In this case, it's calculate the fortnight interest rate. The fortnight interest rate. So what you can do is you use the annual interest rate divided by M. That is the formula. Use the annual interest rate, 6.5% divided by M. M in this case is 26. Okay. So this 6.5%, okay, because the interest is usually is in percentage lah. So you can leave the answer in percentage as well, which is equal to 0.25%. So this is the fortnight rate. Okay. 0.25% is the fortnight rate. 6.5% is the annual rate. Okay. All right. The next question is calculate the number of compounding period. This one should be how many times the interest being compounded. How many times the interest being compounded within 3 years? How many times? Okay. So you have to use 3 years multiply 26 because 1 year the interest will be compounded 26 times, right? 1 year the interest will be compounded 26 times. How to get 26? Here, fortnight. Okay. So 1 year compound 26 times. So if 3 years, then it will be compound 78 times. So I stop for any question on this? Okay, okay, next. Example 8. Okay, an investment of 15,000. So this is the P. It's already given P. Is invested for 4 years. So this is the T. Right? T is 4 years. At 9% per annum compounding. If you see the word compounding, that means this question have to use the compound interest calculation in order to solve the problem. Compound, this is the keyword. This is no longer using simple interest, but it's using compound interest. That means besides the principal, the accumulated interest earned can also help to earn more interest in the next 4 years. That is the meaning. Compound monthly. If you see the word monthly, immediately you have to put M is equal to 12. Okay, M is equal to 12. It's based on this word, monthly. Here, I use red color. All right. So the question will not tell you directly what is the M. You have to interpret the sentence from the question itself. So monthly, I means M is equal to 12. You put there. So K is 9%. Okay, T is 4. Okay. Part 1. Calculate the future value. Future means the S. Okay, S value. So because this is compounding question, we cannot use this formula anymore. Some students may ask, can we use? Okay. Actually, we can also use this formula, right? P plus I, all right? But the problem now is we don't have the I value. We cannot get the I value directly. Okay, I, for this question, we cannot use this formula anymore because this question is compound interest question. So we cannot use this formula to get the I for this question because it's compounding question. But this formula I is for the simple interest question. So we cannot use this formula to get I value. Okay. All right. So what can we do is for part 1, we have to use the S, okay, this formula in order to get the S value. All right, P is 15,000, so substitute 15,000 to here. K is 0.09, is from here, put here. M is 12 because compound monthly. Okay. T is the investment period in year unit. Multiply with the M. Okay, so simplify, I get 2147.08. Okay, part 2, calculate the amount of compound interest earned. Compound interest earned means the I. Okay, so what can we do is we can transpose the formula by using this formula. Transpose the formula so that I will be the subject. Okay, So it's S minus P. So S is from here, P is from the original question itself, then get I is equal to this number. Okay. Okay, for compound interest question, you can also try to transpose this formula, okay, this formula that we learned this morning, in order to get the P, the T, and also the K. Okay. For P is easy, For P, because this P is a base number, right? Base number. So what you can do is you can just transpose the formulas so that this whole thing here can be brought to the left hand side, becomes divide. Okay, this is PAL, all right. So this formula will be given in the exam, and also the online test too. This formula will be given. Okay. So actually, this formula is derived from here, from this formula, all right, by putting P as the subject. Okay. Then how about maybe I can move on to K first. K is the annual interest rate. K is equal to annual interest rate. So actually, it's inside here. It's inside the brackets. But anyway, at this stage, the formula will be given for you. For foundation level, we'll provide the formula for you to get the K value for compound interest question. And this formula will be given to you. Okay, so it's using the S divided by P, brackets and then power 1 over T multiplied M, and then minus 1, and then bracket multiply M. This formula will be given to you. No need to by heart. You just need to apply the formula enough. Okay. Then the next formula is for T formula. Okay, you may find that this T is a power number. Okay. So in order to get a value that involves power number, then we need to use logarithm. Okay, we have to use logarithm to solve the problem. So this formula will be given to you as well. Will be given to you during the exam and also the test. Okay, so you just need to know how to apply this formula. And the T is always in years unit. If you apply this formula, the T is in years unit, which is log S over P divided by log 1 plus K over M, then divided by M. Okay, so let us try to use the following examples to solve the P, T, and also K for compound interest question. Okay, so let us try example 9. Okay, an amount is invested. Amount is invested. That means it's P. Okay, it's for how long? For 4 years, at 12% per annum. Compounding. This is the keyword. Compounding quarterly. So that means this question is compound interest question. It's no longer simple interest question. It's compound interest question. Quarterly. If you see this word quarterly, immediately you must get the what value? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If quarterly, what is the implication? Anybody? Quarterly. M is equal to 4, right? M is 4. I don't know whether got any bomba. Yeah, it seems to be keep ringing. Let me check. Yeah, this bomba alarm. But it seems to be nobody got outside. Yeah. Okay. I think hold on. I may need to leave from the building. Let me see. Okay, no more. Okay, the bell already stopped. Okay, next sentence. If the value of the investment after 4 years is 80,235.32, so this is the value after 4 years. So that means this is the maturity value. This is the S. Okay, S. So try to write down anything or information that we have. Okay, we put here first. Okay. So the question now is asking what was the principal? Calculate the P. All right, calculate the P. So what can we do is you can just simply use this formula directly. Okay, use this formula, copy this formula directly and get the P, copy and then paste to here. Okay, so S is this big number, right? And then the denominator is this one, so we try to solve one by one, all right? So K is 12%. So put here, 0.12, 12%. M is 4. 4 is because quarterly. Okay? That's why 4. Okay, T is 4 years. M is 4. So simplify the denominator first. We try to simplify the denominator first. Okay, so 0.12 divided by 4 is equal to 0.03. Plus 1 is 1.03. Yeah? So this part, this base number here is 1.03. Power number is 16. 4 multiplied 4 is 16. So it's 1.03 power 16. That will be easy for you to use the calculator to simplify this. All right. So if you want, you can add one more step before you get the final answer of 50,000. You can add one more step if you want. So this one you simplify is 1.03. Okay, power number is 16. Okay, so simplify, I get 50,000. So make sure that you know how to use calculator to get 50,000 using calculator. All right. Okay, next example. Example 10. Okay. How long? Now you're asked to calculate how long. So that means the T. You're asked to get a T value. Okay. Who it take for 15,000 to accumulate to 25,000. So this is the P, this is the S, logic, right? This is the S, this is the P. At an interest rate of 7.5% per annum, compounding monthly. If you see the word compound, that means this question is using compound interest rate. Okay, monthly. So that means M is equal to 12. Okay, so get ready. M is equal to 12. Leave your answer in 2 decimal places. So that means this question is to get the T value. So we copy the formula directly, right? From here, copy. Okay, paste to here. All right. So that means we have to use log because the T is a power number. So that means we have to use log to solve the problem. Okay, so S is 25,000 put here, P 15,000 put here. Then this part K is 7.5%. You have to convert to decimal number is 0.075. Okay, M is 12. Then this part also denominator is 12. Okay. Then simplify. We try to do step by step. All right, because 5/3, if I simplify, is a continuous decimal number. So in order to avoid the rounding error, I just leave the answer in fraction number. But anyway, it depends on the skill you use a calculator to get the answer. Okay. So this part is log 1.00625 then divided by 12. So it's about 6.83 years. Okay, 6.83 years. So far so good, So make sure that you know how to use calculator to deal with the logarithm function. Okay. Okay, next. Example 11. Bella invested 4,000. So that means this is the P. Okay. In an investment fund that compound daily. That means M is equal to 365. 365. And this question, we need to use the compound interest calculation, no longer simple interest, okay? Because of this word, compound. And this is the keyword, compound, okay? Okay, next, after 5 years, she received 53,000, okay, 5,399.3, yeah, in her fund. So that means this is the S value after the maturity period of 5 years. So this is the S, okay? This is the P. Okay, find the annual interest rate. Okay, annual interest rate means the R. Okay, you're asked to calculate the K value. Okay, so I think, yeah, somebody, I think, calling. Hold on. I think it's somebody just repair the building renovation and disturb the this regards emergency bell alarm. Okay, you're asked to calculate the annual interest rate, so it's calculate the K. Okay, the R is the periodic rate, right? R is the daily rate. So now you ask to calculate the annual rate. Annual rate means the K value. Okay, so K, that means you can use this formula, copy the formula from here, okay, then paste to here. Okay, so S is this. So bear in mind, your S value must always greater than P. If S is less than P, not logic, that means it's making a loss, not logic. The S always greater than P. Okay, T is in years unit, right? So 5 put here directly. M is 365. Then remember to minus 1, and then multiply with M value. Okay, so make sure that you know how to use calculator to simplify this. So you'll get then your answer should be like maybe 0.06. Okay, and then convert your final answer to percentage is equal to 6.0% per annum. So this is the annual interest rate. Okay, annual compound interest rate. Okay. Okay, last part for today will be effective rate and nominal rate. Effective rate and nominal rate. Okay, so far this morning, the compound interest that we go through, we call this as the annual rate, right? Or annual rate, okay. But we give a special name if the interest is compounded yearly, okay? If the interest is compounded yearly, we give a special name for this annual rate. We call this as effective rate. Okay? So effective rate means is referred to the annual rate that is compounded once a year only. When the M is equal to 1, and then that means that annual rate is called as effective rate, okay, which is 12%. Okay, then how about other types of annual rate when the interest is compounded more than once in a year, like semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, all this. We call this type of rate nominal rate. Okay, so that means this 12% until this 12% all are called as nominal. Why? Because the interest are calculated more than once in a year. Okay, 2 times, 4 times, 12 times, more than 1. So this interest rate are called as nominal rate. Okay, only this is called as the effective rate. If the interest is compound a year. So it's only the name given. Okay, so effective rate, nominal rate, all are called as annual rate. Right? All are annual rate. Okay, so far so good. Okay. What is the reason we want to know the effective rate so that we can do comparison? Because some of the investment involve different types of M value, right? So it's hard for us to do comparison. So one way, if you want to do comparison that involve more than one investment, what you can do is you can try to convert all the nominal rate into effective rate so that we can do comparison. So the higher the effective rate, that means the more return. Okay, that will be received by the investor. If the E is high, okay, that means the cost of borrowing is also high. Okay, if E is high, is also indicate the return of investment is high, okay, for the investor. But for the borrower, it's a cost. Okay, So it's good that we can know how to calculate the effective rate so that we can compare the rate of return that involve different types of investment. Okay, so how is the formula to calculate the effective rate by converting from nominal rate? This is the formula. So we can convert all the nominal rate into effective rate by using this formula. Okay, so K is referred to the periodic rate, right? The annual rate. Okay, the annual rate divided by M and power M, then minus 1. So let us try one example here. Okay, example 12. Bill invests 1,000. So that means this is the P. Okay, in an account that pays 12% per annum, compound annually. So that means this is the compound interest question. Okay, 12% is the compound interest. 12%. Compound annually. That means M is equal to 1 now. Right? Annually, M is equal to 1. So I can say M is equal to 1. I put here. Okay. This is the annual rate, all right? So this is your K. Okay. Another person is called as Chris. Okay. Invest 1,000 also, same principle, in an account that pays 12% interest rate per annum, compound monthly for 1 year. Okay. So for Chris, the M is equal to monthly. Monthly means 12, right? Because of this word, monthly. So now immediately you write down the M value. After you read the sentence, okay, immediately write down the M. So for Chris investment, M is 12. Okay, this question now is asking which account is more profitable? Which account is more profitable? Okay, there are two ways for you to present your answer or to justify your answer. The first method is you can calculate the S value, compare the S between investment of Bill and also Chris. Okay, compare the S. Okay, let's try to use the formula. We have to use this formula because this is the compound interest question. So we use this formula to get S for Bill and also Chris. Okay, so P is this number. This is the K for Bill is 12%. Okay, M is 1. Investment period is only 1 year. Okay, multiply with M1, so it's 1120. So this is the we call it the maturity value after 1 year for Bill investment. Okay, how about Chris? Chris, the difference is only M. M is 12. Okay, we just substitute the 12 into the M. So it's 1126.83. So you may find that actually Chris has higher future value. Why? It's because the interest is compound more times. Okay, more interest being given to Chris within 1 year of investment compared to Bill. Bill only receive one time of interest, one time of interest within a year, but Chris received 12 times of interest, okay, within a year, and this interest can help Chris to generate more interest again in the following month. As a result, you may find that Chris has higher future value. Okay, it's due to the M, because more frequent the interest being revised or being circulated to Chris. That's why Chris has higher S value. Okay. Okay, besides using S, you can also use E value, the effective rate, to do comparison. So the higher the effective rate, the higher the return of the investment. Okay. So let's try to use example 13. So for Bill, we can use, okay, effective rate formula is equal to 1 plus K over M, power M minus 1. Okay, minus 1 is the constant number. M is the 1 because the interest is compound yearly for Bill's investment. So it's 12%. Okay, for Bill. Chris, the difference is here 12. Okay, M is 12. So simplify, you'll get 12.68%. Okay, effective rate. So this is the annual. This is the annual return rate for Chris is higher than the annual return rate of Bill. Okay. So you can say that if you use the effective rate, then you can say, okay, this account has higher effective rate, therefore it is more profitable. So far so good. Okay, you can use S or use E value to make the comparison. Okay, example 14. This question is investment question. Okay, Brian wishes to invest 8,000. So that means this is a P, okay, for Brian. And Brian is an investor now. That invest means want to save money, okay? Save money in a fixed deposit account for 1 year. So that means T is 1. Okay, T is equal to 1. He has two options. He can either invest in Bank A or Bank B. So for Bank A offers 3.7% interest compound semi-annually. Okay, semi-annually, that means M is equal to 12, right? M is 12. M is 2, sorry. Semi-annual, 2 times. So I put here. Okay. And then Bank B offers 3.75% interest rate compound annually. Okay, so M is equal to 1, right? M is equal to 1. Because this interest is compound annually, that means that we can conclude the effective rate offered by Bank B is 3.75%. Okay, so the effective rate of Bank B is 3.75%. We can immediately we can conclude why? Because M is equal to 1, right? So this is the effective rate. Okay, so when the annual rate is compound 1 time in a year only, then we can conclude that is the effective rate. This annual rate is an effective rate because this rate only compound once in a year. Okay, so we can immediately say effective rate for Bank B is equal to 3.75%. Okay, so now you're asked to compare. Okay, which bank should Brian choose and give your reason? Okay, so that means we can try to compare in terms of S or E. Okay, so since it's better for us to use E since we already know the Bank B effective rate is 3.75%. So I think the faster way is to compare E value between two banks. That'll be faster. Okay, S also okay. You can use S also if you want. Then you can using this formula, okay, to compare the S value for both banks. I'll use E because the effective rate for Bank B is already known. Okay, so now we just need to calculate the effective rate for Bank A. Okay, the Bank A offer. Okay, so 1 plus K. K is 3.7%. Put here. Compound semi-annually. So M is 2. Put here. Power 2 also. Minus 1. So I get 3.73%. Okay, this is investor. Brian now is investor. So it's a saver. Okay, so that means the higher the effective rate, the higher the return of the investment. So in this case, we should advise Brian to choose Bank B, right? Bank B is better because Bank B offers higher effective rate. So far, okay? So depends on the role of Brian, whether it's investor or borrower. Okay, so far so good. Okay, all right. Last example for today. Finally, okay. Okay, this example is also test of understanding of effective rate calculation. So let us try to analyze. So Alex wishes to borrow some money to finance some business expansion. So now Alex is a borrower. Okay, is a borrower now. So that means, right, the lower the interest rate, the better for Alex. The lower the interest rate, the lower the cost of borrowing. Then that will be better for Alex to choose. Okay? So he has two different quotes from both banks. Okay, Bank A charges 15.2% compound annually. Okay? Annually, compound annually, that means M is equal to 1. So that means like 15.2% is the effective rate. Okay, effective rate for Bank A is 15.2% because of the word compound annually. Okay, so this is the effective rate of Bank A. Okay, Bank B. Bank B charges 14.5%. Compound monthly. Okay, M is 12, right? M is 12. Okay, because it's more than one time, so 14.5% is referred to the nominal rate. This is nominal rate. Okay, so we need to calculate the effective rate. So answer is 1 plus the annual rate. Okay, annual rate here is referred to the nominal rate, divided by 12. 12 is because of this. M is equal to 12. Okay, power 12, which is the M, minus 1. So I get 15.5%. Okay, 15.5%. But now Alex is a borrower. Okay, so the lower the interest rate, the better for Alex. Because the lower the interest rate, the lower the cost of borrowing for Alex. So in this case here, we should advise Alex to choose Bank A, because Bank A offers lower effective rate. Okay? Because Bank A offers lower effective rate. Okay, we are already done the second part of financial mathematics for today. So generally today we already cover the simple interest and compound interest calculation. Okay, that involve either the investment or loan or borrowing. I already done a summary for you because since today we learned quite a number of formula. So I have done a summary for all of you. Okay, so on the first column, this column here, so I list down all the formula that related to simple interest calculation. So simple interest is based on the principal, okay, principal calculation, and the accumulated interest are not able to help the investor to earn any interest in future. Only the principal can generate the interest, but not the accumulated interest for time to time. So this is the special thing for simple interest. All right. So, and if you want to get the maturity value, we can use S equals P plus I. Okay. Or you can combine these two formula in order to get this. But if you confuse, then it's okay. Okay. This formula actually is combined by using these two. So if you're confused, then it's okay. You can just delete, remove this one. Okay. It's combination of first and the second formula. Or do you want or not? This formula. Okay, it's combined from these two. Then you can get this. Okay. Sometimes the question may ask you to calculate the effective rate, which is equivalent to the flat rate. Flat rate is referred to this. This is the flat rate. You may ask to calculate the effective rate, which is equivalent to the flat rate. If effective rate means is called as the reducing balance interest rate or annual rate. So you can use this formula to apply. So don't confuse. This effective rate and this effective rate are different. Okay. This one is to calculate the equivalent effective rate for simple interest. This one is for compound interest calculation. It's different. Okay. And for simple interest calculation also can be applied to the installment purchase. Okay. Can be applied to the installment purchase question. So if you want to apply the installment purchase question, make sure that you have to calculate the P value first. The principal, which is using the selling price minus the down payment first. All right. Then after that, you can use this formula to get the I and also the S value. Besides that, you can also use periodic installment multiplied with number of installment in order to get the I value, the S value. Okay. And lastly, if the question is asking to calculate the higher purchase price, that means in total how much will be paid by the customer under the higher purchase agreement, then you can use S plus the deposit. Okay, S plus the deposit. Okay, so for compound interest question, besides the principal, the interest earned from time to time also can help to generate interest in the future. Okay, so as a result, there is no exact formula to get the I value. We cannot use this formula to get the I value now. Okay, for the compound interest question. So in order to get the I value, you need to use this formula to get the S value first. Okay, so bear in mind the M calculation is based on the pattern of interest being calculated or being compounded. Okay, so if the interest is compound quarterly, that means M is equal to 4. So I already put here for you to refer. Okay, then another one is Okay, if you're asked to get the P, T, or K, then you can just directly, okay, you can directly copy the formula from here in order to solve the problem for P, T, and also K that involve the compound interest question. Okay, so sometimes the question may ask you to do comparison which investment is better, whether it's bank A or bank B investment or offer better. Then you can try to use effective rate to do comparison. Okay, try to convert all the nominal rate into effective rate so that you can do comparison between two investments. Okay, so the higher the effective rate, the higher the return. The higher the effective rate, the higher the cost of borrowing. Okay, so these are the formula that you need to know for this chapter. Okay, so any other questions before we call a day? I know that today is quite heavy, for all of you, because it can be new things for all of you. But this, I think this chapter is quite useful, okay? For those who want to involve in business next time, or if you want to borrow money from bank next time, then you know how to do the interest calculation in future. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So for test two, online test two, tomorrow I'm going to do a briefing on online test. I'm going to pause the practice exercise 2. Okay. That the question will be quite similar to your online test 2 questions. Okay. I'm going to do a briefing tomorrow regarding the online test 2. The online test 2 will cover until this part, until the financial mathematics chapter. Okay. 20 questions. Tomorrow I'll do a briefing. Right? And tomorrow we can also discuss the tutorial questions. Tutorial questions for this chapter. If you got any problem, yeah, we can go through. Okay, for the tutorial question, you can refer to your Canvas. Okay, go to modules, then go to week 7. Scroll down. Yeah, here. All right. Tutorial question you can get from here. For the tutorial questions that you have to do for this part, you have to start from section 521 until 5.3. 521 and 522 cover the topics of simple interest question, and then 5.3 covers the compound interest question. I understand you have time constraint, so if you have, okay, if you are able to finish all the questions, what you can do is you can skip those questions that involve table like this. You can skip. Okay, no need to do. You just focus on the case study. This one can skip. Okay. This one can skip also. Okay, just do the case study one. I want you to know how to interpret the question and identify the important information in order to solve the financial mathematics question. This one table one can skip. So answer already given at the back. All right. And another one will be your online test 1 result are also already posted. You should be able to access now. Plus your project 1 online. There is the project 1 marking also already done, already emailed to all of you. So if you got any problem, maybe tomorrow you can also ask question or how during our tutorial time. So you have to use your project 1 table, the frequency distribution table. Use the table in order to do your project 2. I think your project 2, the due date is coming week, right? Friday. So you have to do it fast. You have to start now and divide your job among the team members for project 2. Anyway, tomorrow maybe you can go through again briefing, okay, for tomorrow, or maybe today. Okay, let me see for project 2. Project 2 is under you can go to syllabus. Fieldwork project 1. I'm going to create the project 2 submission channel for you to submit as well, huh? So project 2, let me see project 2. Okay, I'll leave this one, huh? Let me recall where can we get the instruction for the fieldwork project. Oh yeah, it's under discussion. Okay, so project 2, if you already received feedback from me for project 1, then you can use the frequency distribution table, okay, in question 3 to answer your project 2 question. So due date is 19 November is this week, huh? Wow, this week. Do you think you can finish this week, or you want to extend for one more week? Do you think you can finish by this Friday? Project 2? If you divide your job, should be okay, right? Oh yeah, it's this week, Friday. Okay, so for project 2, all are the group data. You have to use the group data to calculate the mean. Okay, standard deviation, mod, and also have to draw the histogram, calculate the median, first quartile, third quartile, coefficient of skewness. Okay, so there are two formulas you can use. You can use mean minus mod divided by standard deviation, or you can use 3 multiply mean minus median divided by standard deviation, and have to expand the answer. Okay. Okay, I'll create the project 2 submission, okay, under the week 7 module,
So I think better extend, sir.
Extend, Extend to week 8, right? I think you need about 2 weeks,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Extend one more week for you, I think maybe this week it can be, too rush for you to complete. Okay, if there's a case, extend to one more week until week 8, okay? Because you need time to discuss with your team members as well, okay? So extend one more week, okay? And then our project, okay, this is done. Okay, then our test 2, test 2, let me see our test 2, when is that? Test 2. Test 2 is week 9, okay, still okay. Okay, week 9 Monday. That should be okay. I think, our project 2 should extend to week 8, so that you can have more time to do, because week 8 you have no other submission, no other assignment. Okay? This is week 9. I think should be okay. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow I'll do a briefing on the online test 2, and also I'll use the practice exercise 2 to explain to you the chapters that will be covered. Okay. All right. So any other questions before we call a day? I know that today is quite heavy for all of you. Yeah, quite heavy. Okay, I'll stop recording now.